for the Israeli public, and many took advantage to do some major spending. Joining us with the details is consumer behavior expert Vili Abraham. So, how much money did Israelis spend yesterday when they were just vacationing?
Lots of money. Just between 1 and 2 o'clock, there were 7,000 transactions a minute. So we're talking about over 400,000 transactions in just 1 hour. And from 9 to 4, there were about 2.4 million transactions. And all in all, we spent over 600 million shekel in just 1 day.
How does that compare to like a normal day out and about?
Well, if you compare it to the last round of elections, it's a 10% increase. So we seem to be spending more, but I think the reason is because Purim is just around the corner, so people took advantage of sales to shop for Purim, and also Passover is around the corner. And there were major sales, so people were just going into stores and just grabbing everything.
Wow, I can't even imagine. We never get to see what it looks like on the streets here. But I heard the traffic was crazy, so people were clearly busy.
Yes, and restaurants and coffee shops and everywhere was really, really crazy.
So you're saying the majority of what they spent their money on was, I guess, food, going out to restaurants?
Food, electronics, clothing, and probably costumes for Purim.
And costumes for Purim. A great way to spend your money.
Speaking of money, the Israeli shekel has grown to become one of the strongest currencies in the world. Why is that the case?
Well, first of all, we have a relatively stable political system besides the last...
the current situation, not included.
No comment.
Yeah, and inflation is within 1 to 3%, which is the target of the Bank of Israel. So all in all, we're very stable as far as political environment is concerned.
Interesting. And are we seeing well, I guess what I'd like to know is, because of the fact that, we've had so many issues with the government within the last 11 months and the inability to shape a government, has the shekel been impacted in any way, or?
Not really, no, but it's interesting.
Even during this turmoil.
Yeah, it's more or less stable, and interestingly, today it has dropped somewhat. And I was just curious why that's so. Probably because investors were hoping that there would be a change in government, and when there wasn't no change, then the shekel fell because, they are expecting changes in the economic arena.
What about the coronavirus? Because obviously that's had a huge financial impact around the world, but what about Israel and the impact on the shekel more specifically?
All over the world, there was a serious impact of corona because there is a disruption in the supply chains, less people coming into the country, less people exiting or going outside of the country to visit. So there's a global impact. Although I have to say that if you look at what happened during the SARS pandemic back in 2002, 2003, there was a destabilization environment for about a year, but after a year, things settled down.
All right.
So we have some hopes.
Probably next year.
So we have somewhere to hope.
There's hope. There's hope here. All right. Well, thank you for informing us what all the Israelis were doing while we were stuck here.